identified why I am over 40 and I'm not in my lifetime since I was born. I've not experienced constant electricity. And my children were born into a similar situation. The question is, have you identified what the problem is? Yes, the problem is in...
He has never answered the question on fixing power. I mean, the beauty of it was your question. Even you look confused. Like, what the hell is this answer? Because you had an expectation of procedure and order. And this person says leadership. Whether you were conscious of your confusion or not is a different thing, but your confusion was apparent on TV for all to see that this is such a disaster. Now, what you were expecting when you answered that question is this. You were not expecting somebody to say, when you say, so what is it? Because you were hammering on, so what is it, right? You had said recent countries that fixed power, Vietnam, Egypt, blah, blah, blah. So, and then it goes, it's leadership. And I could see, sometimes when these things happen, they are organic. You're like, this is such a disappointment. This, right, it needs to be generated. You have to have capacity for that generation, right? Nigeria's generation actually, in a certain sense, is not the problem because Nigeria has been able to now generate 14,000 megawatts. But Nigeria still distributes about 5,000 megawatts. So you have such a huge gap, about 9,000 megawatts gap, which is actually more than what you're currently tracking. There are generally two ways to address such big problems. Either you address it as a government or you design a system of deregulation where the private sector addresses it. Nigeria has done a funny deregulation in the power sector, an unfortunate one, a missed opportunity. And then, thankfully, we've also designed a law that has devolved power, right? It's devolved power in a situation where subnationals can now generate power and transmit power, and they've basically been handed power to do that. The bottom line is, this gap in transmission, how do you increase your national capacity to transmit what you generate? And no, Shay, it's not by mouth. Money needs to be generated. Now, how much do you need? Do you need $10 billion? If you need $10 billion, the inefficient way to go about it is the way Nigeria has generally gone about this thing, which is that the country by itself will go borrow money and try to do it, and then it gets stolen. You know why it gets stolen? There is no motivation for profit. Now, in a situation where companies are allowed to come into that place to play, there's motivation for profit. Then they go and raise money. They build what they need to build, they sell power at market price, and everything then goes smoothly. The challenge with that is that Nigeria's power remains subsidized, which means that the incentive for a private player to come and play in the space is quite limited. Place where they cannot even determine how much they want to sell their product. These are the challenges. This is what Peter Obi should have told you, but obviously he cannot tell you because it's like if you tell me now to give you a step-by-step way of designing the rocket. Once I know E equals MC squared, and I know force, and I know power is supposed to work over time and all of those things, I cannot design a rocket. So I will just tell you we have a challenge with leadership in rocket design and hope that you let me be, which you did.
So it's a quick reminder. China is, you can say, is the most successful economy among the BRICS countries, which is why so? That's not coming to place. What China has done is that the leadership was focused on building an economy. And because of that, like I said, here in China, the most critical component of development is around micro, small, medium enterprise.
What is our own government focused on building?
In China, no, it's good to give you an example of what China is able to do.
I don't want it to be about China, because I will use it as reference, then we come back to our reality.
Yes.
Now, you've talked about what China is.
If you see what they are doing about our own, if you see what they are achieving, yes. And you know the reason for us to try.
So in contrast here,
The consequence is that today in China, this sector that I'm talking about is growing. Contributes 60% of their GDP.
so what are we doing? What are we doing right now?
We're not focused on providing enabling environment for this sector to thrive. In fact, small businesses here probably suffer more than big businesses. In China, where you encourage of the night, when the world fades to whispers,
Good
I
morning,
still
Daddy.
hear your
Praise the
voice
Lord. How are you, sir?
carrying
Fine,
me
Daddy. Good
home.
morning, Daddy.
Every step
Amen.
I've
In Jesus'
taken
name, we're going to get
led me
you.
to
Thank
your
you, Lord.
door.
Thank you, Daddy.
Every doubt I
For the
carry
God intervention.
doesn't matter
Thank you, Daddy.
anymore.
For
You're
the
the
God
place my
intervention.
heart
Amen,
belongs,
Daddy.
the shelter
Daddy, I
from
need
the
you to speak
storm.
to your
With
people
your
in the
arms around
southwest.
me,
Your people
I
in the
know I
southwest.
am warm.
And Kwara.
Echoes of our promise, soft
I'm
against my
decreasing
skin.
for us. Decrease that
Every
in the
vow we
southwest.
spoken,
And Kwara.
rising
This is
up
a religious
within.
war.
Even when we're far apart, your